this is Krisha and welcome to our discussion of industry in the profession. Okay, industry in the profession. Ano nga ba ito? Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin natin dito? At bakit nga ba ito mahalaga? You know that we are now in the 21st century wherein we are modernized when it comes to technology. Dito, doon, at kahit saan mayroong teknolohiya. We are driven by technology. Why? Because imagine, pagkagising mo sa umaga, ang unang hahanapin mo at unang hahawakan mo, cellphone. Nag-check ka ng messages, you're scrolling through social media like Facebook, TikTok, and also mga instances na nagsha-shopping ka online sa Lazada, sa Shopee, at ang sikat ngayon of course, the TikTok shop. But have you ever wondered what industry makes all of this possible? That's exactly what we're going to talk about, the computer industry and the IT industry. Narinig niyo na ba itong salitang ito, computer industry at IT industry? Minsan, ginagamit nating parang pareho lang, pero may pagkakaiba sila. Yan ang ating hihimay-himayin para mas malinaw. So let's compare the two. Ano nga ba yung difference between the computer industry and the IT industry? So, when we say computer industry, ito yung mga kumpanyang gumagawa ng computers, hardware, at peripherals. Yung mga physical na bahagi ng teknolohiya tulad ng keyboard, mouse, at monitor. Think of brands like Dell, HP, or Apple, sila yung gumagawa or nagpo-produce ng mga laptops at desktops. Also peripherals tulad nga ng mouse at keyboard. While the IT industry, mas malawak ito dahil kasama dito lahat ng may kinalaman sa software, applications, at digital services. Parang si Microsoft at Google. Hindi lang sila gumagawa ng hardware kundi pati software din at saka online services. So when you use Facebook or Netflix or even an online banking app, you're interacting with the IT industry. Kung may laptop ka, for example, Lenovo, Asus, or kung ano pa man yan, gawa yan ng computer industry. Pero kapag nagbukas ka na ng Facebook or YouTube, gumagamit ka na ng industry services. Gets? So now, ano-ano nga ba yung mga companies na included sa IT industry? Maraming category ang IT industry at baka hindi mo alam gumagamit ka na ng mga products nila araw-araw. Now, let's break down the types of companies that make up the IT industry. First is the equipment manufacturers. These are the companies na gumagawa ng hardware na ginagamit natin, from laptops and smartphones to routers and printers. Kapag nasira yung charger ng laptop mo, saan ka pupunta? Sa computer shop, di ba? Para bumili ng bagong charger, which is the hardware. So the next one is the chip makers. These companies create the brains of our devices, microprocessors, RAM, and graphic cards. Have you ever heard of Intel's Core i5 or AMD's Ryzen processors? They power everything from gaming laptop to high-speed servers. Kung gamer ka, alam mong mahalaga ang graphics card para sa magandang FPS or yung frames per second na tinatawag nila. Kung gusto mo ng smooth gaming, dapat Intel i7 or AMD Ryzen 7 ang processor mo. I know na mga gamer talaga dyan ang mas nakaka-relate dito. Okay, so the next one is the software publishers. Itong companies naman na ito, they create apps and operating systems. Without them, our gadgets would be useless. Examples, this includes Microsoft, Windows, Google like Android or Chrome, and Adobe Photoshop or Premiere Pro. Kung mahilig kang mag-edit ng pictures at videos mo, sigurado akong ginagamit mo ang CapCut. Yun yung sikat sa atin CapCut, di ba? And also the Canva, ginagamit natin yan kapag gusto nating i-enhance yung mga pictures natin, tanggalin yung background, paglapat ng music. So yan, produkto yan ng software publishers. Nakukuha ba? So again, software publishers, sila yung gumagawa ng mga apps at saka operating systems. While the fourth one is the service companies. Ito naman yung mga kumpanyang nag-offer ng cloud services, tech support, at website hosting tulad ng Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, at saka yung IBM Consulting. Kapag nag-save ka ng file sa Google Drive, hindi naman talaga nasa PC mo yon. Nasa cloud storage yon na inaalagaan ng Google. And the last one is the computer retailers. These are the businesses that sell computers, accessories, and software directly to consumers. For example, yung common sa atin yung Lazada or Shopee. If bumili ka ng laptop online or you walk into a computer store para i-check yung mga latest gadgets nila, you've already interacted with this part of the IT industry, which is computer retailer. Another example, kung bumili ka ng keyboard or mouse sa Shopee, bumili ka na sa isang computer retailer. Again, when we say computer retailers, sila ang nagbebenta ng computer products, mga resellers kung tawagan natin. So now, let's proceed to the economic factors naman. Pagdating sa economic factors, sobrang dynamic at prosperous ang IT industry. Parang lagi itong nasa galaw at nagbibigay ng malaking tulong sa ekonomiya ng maraming bansa. Hindi man talaga the most economically beneficial industry sa lahat ng aspeto, pero di natin maikakaila na malaking parte ito sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya sa buong mundo. Halimbawa, kapag pinag-uusapan natin ang mga bansang nagpo-produce ng computer hardware, kabilang dito ang United States, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore at China. Pero kahit na global na ang market, ang US pa rin ang dominant player. Bakit? Dahil karamihan sa mga IT workers ay nasa US, kahit na 2/3 of industry revenues ay nanggagaling sa mga non-US companies. Parang ganito kasi yan. Kahit maraming sales abroad, mas marami pa rin ang experts at empleyado sa US na nagpapatakbo at nagpapalago ng industry. Kaya kahit na globally interconnected ang industry, nananatiling importante ang papel ng US sa pagpapatakbo nito. Isang magandang halimbawa ito ng how economic strength and labor force can drive an industry forward. Pero what makes IT industry successful ba? The success of IT industry ay hindi lamang dahil sa isang factor lang, kundi dahil sa ilang importanteng economic factors. First, habang dumarami ang populasyon, napakarami ding impormasyon tulad ng births, deaths, marriage, at pati na rin mga banking records at licenses. At itong mga to kailangang i-manage. Noon, manual na ang pag-track ng ganitong mga data, pero dahil sa computers at IT, nagiging mabilis at accurate ang process. Parang dati sa barangay, kapag mano-mano pa ang record keeping, siguradong magulo, di ba? Kaya naman, malaking investment ang napupunta sa IT para mas mapadali at maging efficient ang lahat. Pangalawa, pagdating sa globalization ng mga negosyo, napakaraming competition. Kapag may bagong teknolohiya, kailangan ng kumpanya na mag-upgrade para hindi mapag-iwanan. Halimbawa, kung ang competitor mo ay nag-aalok ng automated online order tracking, malamang marami ang mas pipili sa kanila dahil sa convenience. Kaya ang business survival ngayon ay nakadepende na rin talaga sa kakayahang makasabay sa teknolohiya. Kung hindi ka mag-a-adapt, baka mawalan ka ng customers. So, ganun yan. So, sa madaling salita, ang IT industry ay successful dahil sa malaking demand para sa efficient information management at pressure ng global competition na nagtutulak sa mga kumpanya na mag-invest sa teknolohiya. Okay, so let's proceed naman sa marketing marketing channels. Ano ba itong tinatawag nating marketing channels? So, when we say marketing channels, ito yung mga paraan or ruta kung paano na ipapadala at na ibebenta ng mga hardware manufacturers at software publishers ang kanilang mga produkto sa mga consumers. Parang ito yung bridge na nag-uugnay sa producer at sa customer rather. Halimbawa, pwedeng gamitin ang retail stores, online or mail order, value-added resellers, and direct from manufacturers. Isipin nyo na lang kapag bibili tayo ng pagkain, may iba't ibang paraan tayo. Pwede tayong pumunta sa restaurant, mag-order online, or bumili ka na lang sa grocery store. Ganyan din ang marketing channels sa IT industry. Layunin kasi nito na gawing mas madali at accessible ang produkto para sa lahat. Depende sa kung ano ang pinaka-convenient or pinaka-akma sa pangangailangan ng customer. Isa-isahin natin yan. Una, mayroong computer retail stores. Ito yung mga physical shops, maaring maliit na local stores o mga nationwide chains kung saan binibili mo ang hardware at saka software. Madalas may mga empleyado dito na talagang knowledgeable, kaya kung beginner ka sa computer, makakatulong sila sa iyo para sa pagpili ng tamang produkto na swak sa taste or hanap mo. Minsan nag-offer din sila ng classes at training sessions, pati technical support kung sakaling magkaroon ng problema pagkatapos ng purchase. Parang kapag pumunta ka sa isang computer shop or sa mall, madali mong mapapansin na may mga staff na handang mag-assist sa'yo, di ba? And then next is ang mail order or internet outlets. Dito naman, order ka online at ang produkto ay direct na ipinapadala sa iyo. Ang advantage nito ay kadalasan ay mas mababa ang presyo, pero medyo limitado ang service support. Ideal ito para sa mga tech-savvy na hindi naman masyadong nangangailangan ng face-to-face assistance. Halimbawa, katulad ng pag-order mo sa mga online shopping sites na kilala mo. Mas convenient pero kailangan mong maging komportable sa troubleshooting kung sakaling may problema. Like for instance, sa Shopee or Lazada, nag-order ka ng kung anong on-order mo, tapos pag-deliver sa'yo, iba palang product. Na-scam ka, ganun. So, pangatlo, mayroon tayong value-added resellers or yung VARs na tinatawag. Ang channel naman na ito ay medyo special dahil pinagsasama nila ang mga commercially available products at nilalagyan ng specialty hardware or software para makagawa ng system na swak sa specific industry. Kung ikaw ay may video rental business at gusto mong gawing automated ang rental process, mas makakahanap ka ng VAR na nag-aalok ng complete package na tailored sa business mo. Oo, medyo mahal ito kumpara sa ibang channels, pero crucial kung gusto mong siguradong tugma at well-integrated ang iyong system sa mga pangangailangan ng negosyo mo. Panghuli, ang manufacturer's direct. Dito, direkta kang bumibili mula sa mismong hardware manufacturer. Walang middleman tulad ng retail stores. Halimbawa nito is yung IBM ay may long tradition sa direct sales, kung saan madalas ay may dedicated sales force na nagbibigay ng detalyadong information at support. Maganda ito lalo na kung kailangan mo ng bulk orders or kung gusto mo ng direct na pakikipag-deal sa producers. So, lahat ng channels na ito ay may kanya-kanyang strengths, depende sa pangangailangan ng buyer at kung gaano kalawak ang support na hinahanap. Well, so, next, let's proceed to the IT regulation naman. Alam mo, sa IT industry, may mga bahagi na mahigpit ang regulation ng gobyerno at may bahagi naman na self-regulated. Like for instance, may export restrictions kung saan kailangan mo nang maparehistro ang mga software or hardware products na may encryption bago ito ma-export from US para mas siguradong ligtas at hindi mapunta sa maling kamay ang sensitibong technology. Ito ay isang paraan ng government regulation na nakatutok sa security at national interest. Pero, di lang puro gobyerno ang naglalagay ng patakaran. Maraming aspeto ng IT ang pinapamahalaan mismo ng industriya. Bakit? Kasi karamihan sa IT leaders ay nag-aalala na kung masyadong higpit ang regulation, baka maantala ang innovation. Kaya nagsa-self-regulate sila para mapanatili ang freedom nila sa pag-explore ng bagong technology at pag-develop ng mga produktong makakatugon sa pangangailangan ng merkado. Meron din yung mga organization tulad ng Information Technology Industry Council. Sila ang nagsisilbing forum para sa mga kumpanya ng IT, mula sa computer manufacturers hanggang sa service providers, upang pag-usapan nila yung mga itakda yung mga standards at policies na makakatulong para maiwasan ang labis na government intervention. Mayroon din tayong Software and Information Industry Association na tumututok sa pagprotekta ng intellectual property at paglaban sa piracy. At saka yung IEEE Standards Association na tumutulong standardize ang technology tulad ng microprocessors, architectures at network protocols na mahalaga para sa uniformity sa buong industriya. Kaya sa madaling salita, habang may government regulations na kailangang sundin para sa seguridad at compliance tulad ng export restrictions, ang industriya naman ay kumikilos din para protektahan ang sarili nitong innovation sa pamamagitan ng self-regulation. To conclude that, in everything we do today is powered by technology. And behind the tech are these industries making sure things work. Whether you're a student, a freelancer editing videos, or normal na tao na nag-scroll lang through TikTok or Facebook. So the computer and IT industries shape how we live, work, and connect.
So, thank you, Krisha, for your spectacular discussion. I will be taking the lead from now on. I am Feby Joy Langido, and let me introduce you to our next topic: professions, careers, and domains in the computing fields. We'll explore the world of computing professions and careers, kung paano tayo makapagtrabaho sa larang ito, at kung ano ang mga skills ang kailangan natin. So, let's start. So, ano nga ba ang computer professional? A computer professional is someone whose job involves designing, configuring, analyzing, developing, testing, or securing computer hardware and software. Sa madaling salita, sila ang mga taong gumagawa at nagpapanatili ng technology na ginagamit natin araw-araw. Example, kung mahilig kang maglaro ng Mobile Legends, may mga software developers na gumagawa ng mismong laro. May mga network engineers na nag-aalaga ng servers para hindi lag, at may security experts para protektahan ang accounts natin. So, to start a career in computing, you need to decide kung anong area ang gusto mo. So, here are the common paths. Una is ang trade, technical, or vocational schools. For short courses like computer troubleshooting, networking, or basic programming. So, example, kung gusto mong maging IT technician or web developer, pwede kang kumuha ng mga short courses sa coding, troubleshooting, or hardware repairs. May mga schools na nagtuturo ng networking na pwedeng maghanda sa'yo na maging network administrator na nagtatrabaho sa mga malalaking companies na may maraming computers at servers. So, second is colleges and universities. So, ito is yung pang-degree programs like computer science, information technology, or software engineering. So, kung interesado ka sa cybersecurity, pwede kang kumuha ng bachelor's degree in cybersecurity para maging penetration tester or security analyst. So, dumako naman tayo sa IT department. So, sa isang IT department, merong 6 na main job areas. Depende sa skills at interest mo. So, ang top 1 dito is ang management. Siya ang nagda-direct, nagpa-plan, nagre-research, development, evaluation, and integration ng technology. Ang example dito is ang CTO or yung Chief Technology Officer. So, siya yung boss ng IT team. Siya ang namumuno sa mga projects ng company to ensure that the technology is in line with business goals. So, example dito is ang IT project manager. So, ang IT project manager naman ay nagtutulungan sa mga developers at designers para mag-deliver ng software projects on time. So, second to the list is ang system development and programming. So, sila yung mga nag-analyze, design, nag-develop, at nag-implement ng new information sa mga existing systems para ma-improve ang technology. So, example dito is ang game developers. Sila ang gumagawa ng mga paborito nating laro. Gumagawa sila ng mga popular games tulad ng Mobile Legends or Call of Duty. So, example dito na naman is ang web developers. So, sila ang gumagawa ng websites tulad ng Shopee, Lazada, at kung saan pwedeng mag-shopping online. So, number 3, technical services. Sila yung mga nag-evaluate at nag-integrate ng mga new technologies and nagsusupport ng mga centralized computer operating systems and services. So, example dito ang data administrators na nag-aalaga ng information sa isang kumpanya. So, siya ang nag-aalaga ng mga databases na mga websites like Facebook or Gmail. Siya nag-ensure na walang mawawala o nagiging corrupt na data. So, number 4 is operations. So, operates the centralized computer equipment and administers the network. So, including both data and voice communications. So, it ensures the IT systems are running smoothly. So, example dito ay ang network administrators. Para walang lag ang internet sa office. So, sila ang nagme-maintain ng mga network devices tulad ng routers and switches upang ang internet ng buong kumpanya ay stable at mabilis. So, number 5, training. So, develops and ensures policies that are designed to safeguard an organization's data and information from unauthorized users. So, it teaches employees how to use IT systems. So, example, ang mga IT trainers sa mga kumpanya na nagtuturo ng bagong software. So, halimbawa, sila yung paano mag-set up ng Gmail accounts or mag-upload ng documents sa cloud. So, another example dito is ang mga software trainer. Kung may bagong system sa isang hospital, siya ang magtuturo sa mga staff kung paano gamitin ang system para mag-record ng mga medical data. 6 is security. It protects system from hackers and threats. So, example ay cybersecurity experts. So, sila yung mga pinipigil lang hacking at phishing scams. So, pinipigilan nila ang mga hacker na makapasok sa mga company networks. So, halimbawa sa isang bank website tulad ng BPO o BPI. BDO or BPI. So, let's talk about naman sa 10 domains in computing. So, ito yung mga major areas of studies sa computer science. So, number 1 is ang computer theory. So, ito isang branch ng computer science na concerned with finding out how efficiently a given problem can be solved on a model computer using a given algorithm. So, ang example dito is ang sorting algorithms. So, when you organize files by name or date on your computer or your cell phone or any gadgets that you have, is sorting algorithms like quicksort or merge sort help them arrange efficiently. So, para mas malinaw ay bigyan ko kayo ng example. So, paano nga ba ang merge sort? So, una is it divides the list into two halves and then recursively sorts each half and then merge the sorted halves together. Paano yan? Ang gulo namang pakinggan. So, bibigyan ko kayo ng mas malinaw na example. So, example, meron tayong list na 5, 3, 8, at saka 1. Okay? Ang gagawin ng merge sort dito is, i-divide niya itong 4 na numbers or numbers na nasa list dito into 5, 3, and then 8, 1. Okay? And then, ang next niyan is, it recursively sorts these 2, 3, 5, and then 1, 8. So, yung 5, 3 kanina is na-recursively na-sort siya into 3, 5, and then ang 8, 1, naging 1, 8. So, ang final step yan is, i-merge niya into 1, 3, 5, 8. So, nakita nyo dito is, kanina 5, 3, 8, 1, na naging 1, 3, 5, 8. So, na-recursively sort na siya. Ano nga ba yung recursively sort? So, recursively sort means break a large list into smaller parts, okay? Sort each part and then combine the results into a sorted list. So, ang tawag sa technique na ito is called recursion. Okay, so ito ay isang programming phrase, I think. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, pero yeah. Yun. So, magbigay pa ako ng another example, okay? Para baka, baka may mga nalilito pa dyan or whatsoever. So, another example dito is, meron kang list. Ito, medyo marami to. Is, meron kang A, R, V, C, Q, O, S, at saka P. Okay? Ang divide natin into AR, VC, QO, at saka SP. Okay, gawin natin, i-recursively sort natin. So, AR pa rin yan. So, yung CV, yun, magiging CV na siya. Yung kanina is VC, magiging CV na siya kasi na-recursively sort na. And then OQ. And then PS. okay? And then merge them into A, C, O, P, Q, R, S, and V. So, ditong nasa list na ito is, na-recursively sort na siya into a new list of numbers. Yan. So, number 2, algorithm. So, ito ay yung step-by-step instructions for solving problems. Okay, magbigay ako ng example. Yung Facebook. Ang algorithm ay ginagamit para mag-display ng mga posts mula sa mga friends na pinakamas importante sa'yo, based sa mga likes, comments, or shares. Example ba dito is ang Netflix recommendation. Okay, when you watch a movie or series on Netflix, may algorithm na ginagamit ang platform para pag-aralan ang mga previous choices mo. Okay? It looks at your past activities such as the movies you watch and the genres you prefer. Then, it compares this information with the preferences of other users. Okay? Pagkatapos nun, magsasuggest siya ng movie or show na baka magustuhan mo. Okay? Parang ito yung personalized movie guide na based sa inyong interest. Another is ang Spotify recommendation. Same lang sila ng Netflix. It also uses algorithms to suggest songs based on your listening history. Kung madalas kang makinig sa certain genre or artist, whether if it's rock, jazz, punk, or soft, the algorithm will recommend similar tracks. Sometimes it even introduces you to new artists or genres na hindi mo pa naririnig. So, it helps you discover new music. Kaya, every time you open Spotify, may mga bagong kanta kang natutuklasan na swak sa taste mo. Kaya, kung makikita nyo sa Spotify is nakalagay doon sa homepage na Discover Picks for You. Yun yung mga sinasuggest ng Spotify algorithm sa'yo na baka magustuhan mo. So, ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng computer theory at algorithm? Okay, ang algorithm kasi is sinasabi niya sa computer kung paano mag-sort ng list of number. While ang computer theory ay tinutulungan tayo para maintindihan natin kung gaano ito kabilis or yung tinatawag natin nilang time complexity. Okay? And how much memory it will use o kung tawaging space complexity. Okay? In summary doon is, merge sort is an example of an algorithm. And computer theory helps us analyze how well that algorithm works. Okay? Especially when dealing with large amounts of data. Okay? Gets mo ba? Kung yes is, dumako na tayo sa number 3, which is cryptography. Cryptography. Okay? Data encryption is necessary to keep information, okay, such as bank account numbers hidden from those malicious intent. Okay, example, online banking security para hindi manakaw ang pera natin. Okay. Kung gumagamit ka ng online shopping apps tulad ng Shopee or Lazada, yung credit card information ay encrypted using cryptography. Okay, to keep it secure. Ganun lang ang cryptography. So, number 4, distributed computing. Okay, ano nga ba ang distributed computing? So, it is a means of breaking up a complex problem, distributing the pieces to various computers across the network, okay, usually the internet, and having them work on the problem concurrently until the problem is solved. Okay. In other words, using multiple computers to solve a problem. Okay. Example is founding at home. Okay. Ito ay isang project kung saan ang idle computers ng mga users ay ginagamit para mag-research ng mga diseases tulad ng cancer. Okay. Second example are Google Drive and Dropbox. Okay. These two uses distributed computing to store your files in the cloud. And when you upload a document, it doesn't just get stored on a single computer. Instead, it's spread across multiple data centers and servers, making it more secure and accessible from anywhere. So, pwede mong ma-access yung mga files mo just by clicking login kapag gagamit ka ng ibang devices dahil nakastore yung data mo sa cloud, which is amazing for me, to be honest. This allows for greater storage, keep capacity, and reliability. Okay. Even if one server goes down, your files can be still accessed from other servers without disruption. Hindi yung mga wala kasi na-save na doon. Well, depende na lang kung makalimutan mo yung password mo. Well, remember your password, okay? Tandaan nyo, yun. So, that's the glimpse of the computing field dahil itutuloy ng next reporter, Miss Emily Joyce, okay? Ang daming career opportunities at specializations na pwede nating piliin. So, whether you want to be a programmer, security expert, or IT manager, okay? May lugar para sa'yo sa mundo ng computing. So, sana makatulong ang discussion na ito. So, if you have questions, feel free to ask. So, maraming salamat and bye! Bye-bye!
So good morning everyone, I am Emily Joyce Galicia and I will proceed with the continuation of Ms. Feby Langido's report. I will start with cloud computing. Cloud computing is a popular and often misused buzzword in the IT industry. It is often used in conjunctions with any internet services or application. So ang cloud computing ay nagbibigay daan upang ma-access at gamitin ang iba't ibang computer resources gaya ng storage space, processing power, and software application sa pamamagitan ng internet. It has several advantages. The first one is it provides flexibility sapagkat maaari mong ma-access ang iyong mga files at application kahit saang lugar basta merong internet connection. Hindi ito limited sa isang device lamang. The second one is it provides scalability. Ibig sabihin, madali kang magdadagdag or magbabawas ng mga resources base sa iyong needs. For example, biglang dumami ang nag-visit sa isang apps or website. So, pinapayagan ng cloud computing na mabilis na ma-handle ang capacity ng server and to handle the increased demand. And lastly, cloud computing often provides reliable and secure infrastructure for its services and data center. Ang cloud service providers ang namamahala at nagme-maintain nito. Popular example nito ay ang cloud storage solutions, gaya ng Google Drive. So dito, meron tayong pinaprovide na information or data about sa atin. At dahil sa tulong ng cloud computing, magsesecure natin ang ating mga privacy dahil alam na natin na mga service provider ay mapagkakatiwalaan and the infrastructure is secured. Sabi ko nga kanina, cloud computing enables you to access and use computing resources and services over the internet, offering flexibility, scalability, and convenience. So the next one is computational learning, or commonly referred as machine learning. It is a type of computer science that allows computer programs to learn and improve all on their own, to think and act like humans without being specially programmed to. Ginagamit natin ang machine learning sa ating pang-araw-araw na buhay nang hindi natin nalalaman, katulad na lamang ng email spam, spell check, and even the YouTube videos recommendation. Machine learning uses algorithm to learn tasks. These algorithms are fed with data from which they learn to perform this task. This means na paglipas ng mga araw, hindi na kailangang i-reprogram ang mga application dahil it will find a patterns and learn from their new data. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, which is science concerned with importing human-like intelligence, which can sense, reasons, act, and adapt. Sabi ko nga kanina, machine learning is leading us to a future where machines can learn and think. The next one is computer vision. Computer vision is defined as a field of study that focuses on developing techniques to help computers see and understand the content of the digital images, such as photographs and videos. In the context of computer vision, there are various methods in which machines are able to understand and sense their surroundings. But dalawa lang ang nilagay ko para maging more specific tayo sa topic. So the first one is object detection. So paano nga ba ito gumagana? Ginagamit ito upang masecure ang iyong smartphone. Ini-scan ng camera ang iyong mukha, ina-analyze ang mga pixel, at kinukumpara ito sa model ng iyong mukha na nakasave sa cellphone. Kapag nagtugma, nabubuksan ang cellphone. Sa madaling sabi, ang object detection ay nagbibigay kakayahan sa mga machines na makakita at makaintindi ng mundo sa pamamagitan ng mga larawan at video. The next one is image and video preprocessing. Ang advanced computer vision ay gumagamit ng neural network na kayang gumawa ng mga pagbabago sa larawan na hindi kayang ng traditional na algorithm. Halimbawa, maaaring dagdagan ang bilang ng isang object sa isang larawan nang hindi mahahalata. So, ginagamit ang pre-processing para matiyak na the same pa rin ang presentation ng bawat images. Mahalagang hakbang ito para masigurado na ang data ay handa at optimized para sa computer vision task. The next one is big data. It is the collection and analysis of large amount of data. An easy way to understand this is tracking consumer behavior, whether it is in healthcare or finance, or even like shopping. Tracking that behavior and analyzing payment patterns, receipt, and comparing that to historical trends for that particular consumers or for demographic consumers. That's the example of big data. Katulad na lamang ng Netflix. Netflix uses big data to track what their members watch, to enhance the experience and customize the experience over time. Big data helps to determine which programs may be of interest to you, and recommendation system actually influence 80% of the content we watch on Netflix. So the next one is neural networks. Neural networks are artificial intelligence that stimulate biological neuron structures to process inputs and produce outputs. Neural networks from the base of deep learning, a subfield machine learning, where algorithms are inspired by the structure of the human brain. Neural networks take in data, train themselves to recognize the pattern in this data, and then predict the outputs for a new sets of similar data. Have you ever taken a photo and your phone automatically recognized who's in the picture? That's an example of neural networks. Ang neural networks kasi is para kang nagtuturo ng bata na walang kaalam-alam. So, pinapakita mo sa kanya yung mga pictures para mas madali niyang maaalala o mare-recognize kung ano iyon. So, sa paulit-ulit na pagtuturo, sa kanyang pagtingin sa mga images, ito ay nagpa-functions sa kanyang utak until they recognize it. So, ganito din ang neural network. They learn from example inputs. Pero mas mabilis and at the same time, mas komplikado. The last one is tractable problem versus intractable problem. Tractable problem are those that can be solved by efficient algorithm in a reasonable amount of time, especially in polynomial time. According to Tomorrow Bio, identifying and solving tractable problems allows business to improve their bottom line and provide their product and services to their customers. For instance, retailer can use data analytics to understand customer behavior and preference, and then tailor its marketing and sales strategies accordingly. Intractable problems, on the other hand, are those for which no efficient algorithm are known to exist, often requiring exponential time to solve, making them impractically for large inputs. Example of intractable is the ending extreme poverty, preparing for future pandemics, and battling climate change are also considered intractable challenges.
So, good day everyone. My name is Edsel Prince J. Fragoso, and today let's move on to our next topic. So, I will be discussing the different types of the computing disciplines. These are the different types of the computing disciplines. So, let's first discuss the computer engineering. Computer engineering involves the software and hardware and the development of integrated system that include both along with communication. So, basically speaking, when we talk about computer engineering, sila yung mga nagde-develop ng mga chips, ng mga routers, sila yung mga nag-improve pa, sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga different kinds of communication. Like for example, yung mga internets and so on. So next, let's discuss naman the computer science. So, among the 5 different types of computing disciplines, computer science is one of the most popular. Why? Kasi sila yung mga nag-handle sa mga programming. Like for example, sa mga sensors, sa mga automatic devices natin. Sila yung mga gumagawa, sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga codes in order for us na magkaroon tayo ng mga automatic na devices. Yes, in demand siya, and this is one of the hardest disciplines among the 5. Why? Kasi mahirap talaga gumawa ng mga codes, mag-create, mag-program. Super lawak kasi na scope niya. Abutin ka talaga ng siyam-siyam pag nag-programming ka. Kaya computer science is one of the most popular and also one of the hardest disciplines. So next, we have the information system. So what is an information system nga ba? So this is an organizational context typically in a business. So what do we mean by organization nga ba? So when we talk about organization, is about a people or a group of people wherein dito na-address yung mga common goals, mga plans, mga problems sa company. So, information system, ano nga ba yung ginagawa nito? So, sila yung mga gumagawa ng plano, tinutulungan nila yung mga business para mas lalo pang mapalago yung business nila. Sila yung mga nagde-develop sila ng maayos na plano. Like for example, nagka-problema. So, sila yung tumutulong dun sa business para maihahon ito at maibalik yung economic sustainability niya. Next, we have the information technology. So, ano nga ba yung ginagawa ng information technology na to, or basically speaking, the IT? Well, sila yung mga nag-aaral ng system. Like for example, in a business, so alam naman natin sa business is madaming necessary information dyan. Andyan yung mga private transaction, mga master list, yung mga nangyayari sa inside the business. So, in order for them to protect those necessary information, nag-hire sila ng information technology. So, information technology, like what I mentioned, sila yung nag-aaral ng system. So, in order for them to protect those necessary information, gumagawa sila ng cyber security para hindi agad-agad ito mapasok ng mga hacker. So, nagde-develop ang information technology ng mga cyber security para mas lalo pang mapatibay at maprotektahan ang mga impormasyon patungkol sa kanilang business. So, lastly is the software engineering. So, ano nga ba ang ginagawa ng software engineering? Well, sila yung mga nagde-develop sa mga system natin, sila yung mga nag-i-improve palalo para mas mapaganda pa yung mga designs, yung mga smoothness ng ating software. Like for example, sa mga cellphones natin, sa mga Androids natin, pag meron times na nagsi-system update. So, mga nagde-develop nun is yung mga software engineering. Yes. So now, let's proceed to the computing disciplines and majors. So, itong majors na to, ito yung mostly inaaral in a tertiary education in college, universities, and so on and so forth. First, we have the computer engineering. Second, we have the computer science. Third, we have the information system. Fourth, we have the information technology. 5, we have the system engineering. So last, we have the mixed disciplinary majors. So the first major mentioned here is the computer engineering. So, ano nga ba yung mga pinag-aaralan, mga ginagawa ng mga computer engineering students? Well, sila yung mga estudyanteng pinag-aaralan kung paano pa mag-develop ng mga new digital devices, and also ang goal nila is to improve our digital devices. Like for example, in our cellphone, sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga chips, mga processor para mas lalo pang maging smooth and also maging capable yung mga applications sa isang device na yon. So, second here is the computer science. So, ano nga ba yung mga ginagawa ng mga computer science majors na students? So, ano yung mga pinag-aaralan nila? So, mostly, sila ay nakafocus sa programming. Like for example, sa mga sensor, nasabi ko na kanina, sa mga sensor, sila yung mga nag-aaral ng mga codings para mas lalo pang ma-improve yung mga sensor natin, mas lalo pang maging automatic. Alam nyo ba yung sa example ko here is sa SM, yung mga tubig nila doon, yung mga ang tawag dito, gripo. So, pag tinapat mo doon yung kamay mo is bubuhos na agad yung tubig, no? So, yun yung mga goal ng mga computer science, mas maging automatic pa yung mga bagay-bagay na nakikita natin or ginagamit. Yes. So, na-mention ko rin kanina na ang computer science ang pinaka-popular among the others. Why? Kasi mas madaming karir dito kasi kapag computer science graduate ka, mas madaming opportunity ang nakaabang sa'yo. We have here 4 career path of the computer science. So, first in here is designing and implementing software. So, kapag computer science graduate ka, there's a possibilities na makagawa ka ng isang application. Kasi here in computer science, mas madaming knowledge, mas madaming tinuturo dito. So, designing and implementing software. So, yun nga, nasabi ko na kanina, kapag computer science graduate ka, there's a possibilities na makagawa ka ng applications. Kasi isa ito sa mga goal ng computer science ang mag-develop ng mga entertainment application like TikTok, YouTube, and also yung mga games like Mobile Legends and Call of Duty Mobile. So secondly, here in devising new ways to use computers. So here, like for example ko kanina, yung mga automatic devices natin, makakagawa ka ng mga automatic na bagay-bagay. Like for example, sana maging possible na to, no? Yung trash bin na na pag nagtapon ka dun is automatic na magse-segregate yung mga basura. So sana one day ma-develop natin yung kind ng technology na yun. So, ganun yung ginagawa ng computer science. Kapag computer science graduate ka, gumagawa ka ng mga improvement ng isang bagay. Magiging automatic man to, and so on. Number 3, we have developing effective ways to solve computing problems. So, like what I mentioned earlier, na ang computer science is mostly sa programming sila. So, here is sa maths, sa field of maths, sa field of science, pwedeng makatulong ang computer science para ma-solve ang isang particular na problem. So lastly, number 4, we have the planning and managing organizational technology infrastructure. So, there's a possibilities kapag computer science graduate ka is makadevelop ka ng mga new technologies na makakatulong para mas lalo pang ma-improve yung kaalaman ng ating mga estudyante. Next naman, information system. So, an information system is concerned with the information computer system can provide to aid a company. So, here sa information system, parang connected sila sa entrepreneur. Kaso nga lang, ang information system is nakatuon yung pansin nila sa digital. So, sila yung tumutulong sa isang business para mas lalo pa tong mapalago. Nasabi ko na kanina na ang information system is sila yung gumagawa ng mga plano para mas lalo pang ma-improve or mapalakas ang isang kumpanya. Next one, the information technology. Like what I mentioned earlier, na kapag information technology ka, there's a possibilities na makatulong ka mostly sa business, sa government, like the ICT. Alam naman natin yung the ICT. So, ang bilang information technology graduate, kapag there's a possibilities na makatulong ka in the field of cybersecurity. Why? Kasi ang information technology is mostly inaaral nila yung mga systems ng mga computers. So, yun nga, pag naaral nila yung system ng computers, pwede silang makapag-develop ng mga cybersecurity para hindi agad-agad mapasok ng mga hacker yung mga mahalagang impormasyon na nakaimbak sa kanila. And lastly, the software engineering. So, ang software engineering, sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga So lastly, the software computer So, 1, 2, 3. So, lastly, we have the software engineering. Sila yung mga nagde-develop ng mga software ng mga ng mga device natin. Like what I mentioned ulit, yung mga cellphones natin. 'Di ba? Meron doon times na nagsi-system update to. So, yung mga gumagawa ng mga system update na yun is yung mga software engineering natin. So, ano nga ba yung layunin mga system update na yun? So, ang ginagawa ng mga system update na yun is para mas maging smooth pa and also maging updated yung Android version natin. So, like what I mentioned, software engineering, pwede kang mag-apply dyan sa mga Apple Store, mga Android company like Infinix, ganon. So, ang software engineering is, yun nga, mostly sa software sila para ma-improve pa yung mga smoothness or yung mga new updates sa ating mga softwares. So, let's proceed to the mixed disciplinary majors. So, kapag mixed disciplinary majors graduate ka, pag-aaralan natin yung mga some of the opportunities na pwede nyong ma-attain after graduating mixed disciplinary majors. The first one mentioned here is the bioinformatics. So, dito naman po is sila yung mga tumutulong like for example sa mga doctors and sa mga nurses para makapag-develop ng result. Like for example, in a laboratory, so sila yung mga tumutulong sa mga doctor and nurses para makapag-develop ng mga results sa DNA, RNA. The second one mentioned here is the computational science. So, means science done computationally. So, here naman po is like for example in math. So, sila yung mga tumutulong to solve math problem and also science theories para magkaroon tayo ng mas malinaw at mas malawak na ebidensya in that particular field. So, ang goal din po ng computational science is to identify real-world scenarios in order for us to improve our life. The next one here is the computer science and mathematics. Like what I mentioned earlier, na kapag mixed disciplinary majors graduate ka, pwede kang makatulong in the field of science and mathematics. Like for example, in mathematics, so pwede kang develop ng mga new computational mathematics method para masagutan yung isang particular problems na yon, and also the science. So, like for example, pwede kang makagawa o makapag-prove ng mga evidence na tama yung mga theories na yon. So, the number 4 here is the gaming and animation. So, very familiar na tayo dito. So, pag mixed disciplinary majors ka, possible na matutunan mo yung ganito. Like for example, di ba, very common na tong gaming and animation na to. So, pwede natin matutunan kung paano mag-develop ng mga characters. Tawag dito, pwede din tayo matutunan paano mag-edit ng mga animations, like sa mga YouTube, sila, yung mga vlogger doon, sila Pepe San, ganun. So, possible natin matutunan yung mga ginagawa nila kapag mixed disciplinary majors graduate tayo. The last one here is the medical. So, very common na to, medical. So, pwede makatulong yung mga mixed disciplinary majors sa field of medicine. Like, for example, doon sa mga devices, mga technology na ginagamit nila. So, pwede sila mag-hire ng mixed disciplinary majors na students para mag-operate or maging technological expert dun sa hospital na yun. So, yun lang. That's all the topic that I need to discuss for this module. Thank you for listening. Sana po may naintindihan kayo. Thank you.
A pleasant morning to everyone. My name is Hazel Hart Peralta, and I am the last reporter of this group in Module 1, which my assigned topic is entitled Computing Knowledge Areas. And we have 5 programs na i-discuss ko isa-isa mamaya. At ang mga 5 programs na yun ay computer engineering, computer science, software engineering, information technology, and last, we have information system. So let's discuss it one by one. First, computer engineering. Ano nga ba ang computer engineering? Ang computer engineering, in a most basic term, it is the combination of computer science, electrical engineering, and electronics engineering, which it deals both software and hardware side of things. Ang computer engineering ay gumagamit siya ng principles mula sa computer science, just like what I've said a while back. Ito ay combination ng computer science at gumagamit siya ng principles mula dito, and as well as gumagamit siya ng principles mula sa electrical engineering para makapag-create ng hardware o yung physical component na tinatawag natin. So, sa computer engineering din ay dito mo matututunan yung mga basic fundamentals ng programming and yung pseudocodes and yung flowchart. Next, CE 2004, known as the current computer engineering curriculum. And soon it was replaced by CE 2016 or Computer Engineering 2016. This is the new version na ng Computer Engineering curriculum, and it was initiated by the ACM or IEE steering community. Nireport ng ACM or IEE na palitan or nadagdagan yung mga knowledge areas na nasa computer engineering. ACM is stand for Association Computing of Machinery, and IEEE stand for Institutes of Electronics and Electrical Engineers. It was shared by the report was shared by the computing community in October 2015, prompting the need na baguhin or to revise the curriculum. CE 2016's knowledge areas include circuits and electronics, computing algorithms. Subject na to, dito matututunan yung how to solve problems, computation, computing algorithms, and computer architecture and organization, digital design, embedded systems, computer networks, information security. Of course, sa information security, kailangan nilang i-take din tong subject nito para ma-secure yung mga information na ginagamit natin or yung mga nakapaloob sa computer, ganyan. Strategies for emerging technologies, signal processing, systems and project engineering, systems resource management, and software design. And last, yung dinagdag nila sa curriculum ay yung professional practice. Professional practice kasi kailangan din nilang ma-practice yung pagiging professional sa kanilang workplace kapag nag-computer engineering na. And also, andyan, professional practice, andyan yung professional ethical responsibility sa pag-practice ng computer engineering, and ethics or rather yung effects ng work nila sa ating society. Next, computer science, or also known as CS. Bagong lahat, ano nga ba ang computer science? So, without looking at any formal definitions, computer science is the study of how computers work, or it is the study of computation. Kumbaga, ang computer science sila yung gumagawa or they focus on developing software and software systems. And also, it is like understanding the fundamentals behind everything. Gaya nga nasabi ko kanina, this program is nakafocus sa pag-develop at pag-test ng software at software system lamang. And a unique aspect of the current computer science curriculum, CS 2013, is its inclusion of course exemplars from many diverse universities. The current computer science stands out by providing real-life course examples from these different universities. By real-life examples, it includes how universities have implemented the curriculum, and this will help educators on how to teach the curriculum in various ways. And which show different ways in which the curriculum recommendations can be implemented. The creators of CS 2013 understand that computer science students will work in uh, diverse fields after graduation. Therefore, they recommend um, an interdisciplinary approach, allowing the students to explore multiple disciplines like mathematics, electrical engineering, psychology, statistics, fine arts, linguistics, and physical and life sciences. Um, CS 2013 introduces new knowledge areas building upon previous curricula. This update reflects the rapid growth and increasing complexity of the computer science field. In overall, CS 2013 aims to provide a well-rounded education for computer science students, preparing them for a successful career. So we have software engineering, or also known as SC. Kung kaninang computer science is the study of how computers work, ang software engineering naman ay it is a branch of computer science na, which means they also develop software from the world itself. Software engineering, you know, that's self-explanatory. And yes, software engineering, it is focused on building applications. We mean building applications, it refers to the process of designing, developing, testing, and deploying a software system that will that have a functionality to users. Software engineering, in simple words, sila yung gumagawa ng software, nagde-design ng applications na ginagamit natin sa desktop, mobile apps, nga ganon. The current software engineer curriculum, SE 2014, includes a description of knowledge to be addressed in an undergraduate software engineering program score called the Software Engineering Education Knowledge, or also known as SEEK. The Software Engineering Education Knowledge, or SEEK, it is the framework that outlines the essential knowledge areas that an undergraduate software engineering, which provides guidelines for software engineering education. Ito yung software engineering education knowledge, ito yung magiging guidelines ng mga software engineering students. SEEK is a critical component of software engineering because it outlines the fundamental knowledge areas that undergraduate programs should address. SEEK covers the entire spectrum of content for this discipline, including information terminology, artifacts, data, roles, methods, models, practices, procedures, and techniques. Next, the 10 knowledge areas that make up SEEK are computing essentials, mathematical and engineering fundamentals, professional practice, software modeling and analysis, requirements and analysis and specification, software design, software verification and validation, software process, software quality, and last, security. And we have information technology, or also known as IT. Ano nga ba ang IT? Siguro yung iba, alam na ang ibig sabihin nito, but I would like to define what is an information technology. Information technology is It's like the result of combination of computer technologies and communication technologies. Tumutukoy ito sa paggamit ng computer, software at communicating equipment para mag-restore, mag-store, mag-retrieve, magpadala or mag-manipulate ng data. And in simple words, IT is about sa paggamit ng computer at technology to make information. For example, kapag ginamit mo ang isang computer or smartphone upang magpadala ng email or mag-browse sa internet at maglaro ng video games, you are already engaging information technology. In this slide, the current version of the information technology curriculum was issued in 2008, but a new edition will soon be available for review and is projected to be published in 2017. Information technology was last updated in 2008. And the task group responsible for this project established desired competencies for graduates. And this curriculum's focus mirrors the works that consumes expertise, IT professionals, integrating different technologies and integrating technologies into organizations. Ang required skills ng IT professionals graduates ay user advocacy skills, the ability to address information, assurance, and security concerns. Kailangan natin yan talaga. And the ability to manage complexity through abstraction, information technologies, and communication. And adaptability, outstanding interpersonal skills, high ethical standards, and professional responsibility. Kagaya ng sinabi ko sa computer engineering, kailangan talaga ng professional responsibility. Next, and last we have information systems or DIS. Ano nga bang information system? An information system is a set of computer-based tools for collecting, storing, and processing data in our world. And also it has become the umbrella term for everything in a business that relates to the collection, processing, recording, and dissemination of information within a organization. And take note with the word organization because it also includes people and process. The Information Systems Curriculum or IS 2010 created by ACM and the AIS and endorsed by the CS or Computer Society builds on the foundation established in the two previous versions, providing guidance on the core curriculum recommended for information systems programs in universities and colleges worldwide. The primary objective of IS 2010 is to provide guidance to the core curriculum recommended. And as with the other four curricula, IS 2010 specifies learning outcomes na kailangan nilang ma-achieve sa program na to. In this case, the high-level capabilities na kailangan nilang i-develop ay ang mga pag-improve ng organizational processes, exploiting opportunities created by technology innovations, understanding and addressing information requirements, designing and managing enterprise architecture, identifying and evaluating solution and sourcing alternatives, sourcing data and infrastructure, understanding and controlling IT. And that's all. This is the end of my report. And thank you for listening and I hope you learned something. Goodbye!